One of the first instincts we have as photographers is to fill the frame. When we stand in front of something beautiful, we naturally want to include as much of it as possible. We move closer, zoom in, and try to remove every empty corner because we assume that more information will create a stronger photograph. Strangely enough, the opposite is often true. Some of the most memorable photographs ever created contain surprisingly little. A lone tree standing in an open field, a single boat floating on a calm ocean, one person walking through a sea of fog. These images feel powerful not because there's more to look at, but because there's less competing for your attention. This is the idea behind negative space. Negative space is simply the area surrounding your subject. It doesn't have to be white or empty. It could be the sky, water, mist, a plain wall, darkness, or even an out-of-focus background. What matters is that this space isn't competing with your subject. Instead, it's giving your subject room to breathe. Think about a conversation in a noisy restaurant. If 10 people are talking around you, it's difficult to focus on the person sitting opposite you. Now imagine the same conversation in a quiet room. Suddenly, every word becomes clearer. Negative space works in exactly the same way. By removing visual noise, you make the subject's voice louder. One of the reasons negative space feels so elegant is because it creates simplicity. Our brains enjoy clarity. When we are presented with a photograph that has one obvious subject and very few distractions, we understand it almost instantly. The image feels calm, deliberate, and confident. It doesn't have to fight for our attention because it already knows what it wants to say. Negative space can also create emotion. A person standing alone beneath a huge sky can feel isolated or peaceful depending on the light and the mood. A small fishing boat surrounded by an endless ocean can communicate freedom, loneliness, or adventure without a single word. The empty space becomes part of the story rather than simply the background. This is why many luxury brands use negative space in their advertising. Instead of filling every corner with text and graphics, they allow the product to stand almost alone. That simplicity creates confidence. It suggests that nothing else is needed. Great photography often achieves exactly the same feeling. Of course, negative space only works when it's intentional. Empty space without purpose simply feels unfinished. Before pressing the shutter, ask yourself whether that space is adding something to the story. Is it emphasizing the size of the landscape? Is it creating a sense of loneliness? Is it directing attention towards the subject? If the answer is yes, then the space is doing its job. One mistake many photographers make is cropping too tightly during editing. They become so focused on the subject that they remove the very space that gave the image its atmosphere. Sometimes stepping back, rather than moving closer, creates the stronger photograph. Here's a simple exercise to try. Find a single subject, perhaps a person, a tree, or even a coffee cup on a table. Photograph it once by filling the frame completely. Then take a few steps back and allow plenty of empty space around it. Compare the two images. One will probably feel more descriptive, while the other may feel more emotional. Neither is wrong, but each tells a different story. The beauty of photography isn't found in how much you can include. It's found in knowing what you can leave out. Negative space teaches us that silence can be just as powerful as sound, and emptiness can often say more than detail ever could. In our next lesson, we'll explore framing and discover how photographers use doorways, windows, branches, and shadows to naturally draw your attention towards the subject. Once you understand framing, you'll begin finding photographs hidden inside the world around you instead of simply photographing the world as you see it.